American men didn't stop opening up because they're cold. They stopped because every time they tried, it cost them something. A man once told me, "The last time I opened up, she said I wasn't man enough." Another said, "I shared how stressed I was and she used it against me during an argument." And then there was the quiet one. The man who said nothing, but whose eyes told the whole story. He didn't trust anyone with his truth anymore. Not women, not friends, not family, not even himself. And that moment made one thing clear. It's not that American men don't want to open up. It's that they don't feel safe doing it. Modern America is slowly waking up to a truth men have lived with for decades. American men don't feel safe opening up anymore, not because they lack emotion, not because they're incapable of vulnerability, but because vulnerability has cost them more than silence ever has. Men across the country are emotionally shutting down, quietly withdrawing, and learning to carry their battles alone. And the most painful part of this is that no one taught them how to open up safely. They were taught to provide, protect, endure, and survive, but never to express, heal, or share. And when they finally tried, many discovered that the world wasn't designed to catch them when they fell. Growing up, boys were told, "Man up," "Stop crying," "Toughen up," and "Don't be weak." So before American men ever met women, they already learned one dangerous lesson. Emotions are threats, not tools. But the real problem didn't begin in childhood. It began later, when men actually tried to open up. When they shared their pain and were met with judgment, mockery, indifference, or emotional weaponization. When they told someone how much they were hurting and were told they were dramatic, sensitive, or weak. When they cried and saw the look of disappointment or confusion in someone's eyes. Over time, they weren't just discouraged from being vulnerable, they were punished for it. American men don't feel safe opening up because vulnerability often becomes ammunition. Many men discovered that the deepest things they revealed in moments of trust reappeared in the middle of an argument. "You said you were depressed," thrown in their face. "You're insecure," used as a knife. "Remember when you told me you were struggling with work?" brought up as proof of failure. Men learned quickly. The world loves vulnerable men until those men need something in return. Women often say they want men to open up, but men know that emotional honesty can change the way people see them. They fear losing respect, losing attraction, losing trust, losing leverage. They fear being seen not as human, but as broken. And that fear isn't imagination. Many men have lived it. They showed weakness once, and the dynamic changed forever. Another reason American men stay silent is because they've watched how society talks about them. Men are labeled emotionally unavailable, but no one asks why. Men are told to be vulnerable, but when they express real pain, people get uncomfortable or annoyed. Men are shamed for being too closed and shamed again for being too open. They can't win. If a man opens up too little, he's cold. If he opens up too much, he's needy. If he asks for support, he's fragile. If he shows strength, he's toxic. American men live in a double bind where every emotional expression is wrong. So they choose the only safe option they know: silence. But silence has a cost. Men develop anxiety, depression, loneliness, and emotional numbness. They carry burdens heavier than anyone realizes. They walk through life with invisible backpacks filled with financial worries, family pressure, shame, exhaustion, unresolved trauma, and fear of failure. And because they don't talk about it, people assume it doesn't exist. American men aren't silent because they have no feelings. They're silent because they have too many, and no one created a safe place for those feelings to land. Relationships make this even more complicated. Men want emotional closeness, but they fear emotional exposure. They've seen relationships end because a woman lost respect after he opened up. They've heard stories of men being cheated on during vulnerable periods. They've experienced partners becoming distant after they admitted insecurities. They've watched men get mocked online for crying. They've heard female influencers say, "A man who cries is not attractive." And while not all women believe this, men remember the ones who said it. The modern dating market encourages women to look for confidence, stability, strength, leadership. And men internalize that if they show anything less, they'll be replaced. They fear that opening up threatens their masculine identity because society loves the idea of vulnerable men but punishes the reality of them. Men also lack emotional solutions. Women open up to each other and receive comfort, validation, shared stories, and emotional support. Men open up to other men and often receive jokes, discomfort, or quick solutions instead of understanding. Not because men don't care, but because they were never taught to respond emotionally. Most men don't know how to support other men. They silence each other accidentally. So men conclude, "No one can handle my emotions, including other men." This isolation becomes a cage. Men stop trying to express anything real. They become emotionally self-contained, not because it's healthy, but because it's the only way they know to survive. Culture also plays a role. The modern world celebrates female emotional expression, but treats male emotion as dangerous, unstable, or unnecessary. Men are expected to be emotionally available for women, but no one is emotionally available for them. Men are expected to be the rock, the anchor, the protector, the strong one. But who protects the protector? Who anchors the man who anchors everyone else? Who stabilizes the man who stabilizes the relationship? American men feel like they must be everything for everyone, except themselves. Economically, American men carry pressures that amplify emotional silence. They fear losing jobs, being unable to provide, failing as partners, being judged for not earning enough, or being seen as irresponsible. When men feel financially insecure, they often feel unworthy of love. And since talking about money is taboo for men, they swallow their anxieties. They pretend to be fine. They fake confidence. They push through burnout silently. Vulnerability doesn't feel like an option. It feels like a luxury they can't afford. American women aren't the enemy. Women also suffer. Women also feel misunderstood. Women also feel exhausted. But the truth is that men and women are playing two different emotional games. Women often want men to open up because they crave intimacy. Men want to open up, but they crave safety. Women want emotional truth. Men want emotional acceptance. Women want closeness. Men want to avoid shame. No one is wrong. They just speak different emotional languages. The deeper truth is this: American men don't want to be silent. They want someone who listens without judging, understands without fixing, accepts without punishing. Men want to open up to someone who won't lose respect for them, who won't use their pain against them, who won't mistake emotional honesty for weakness. They want emotional partnership, not emotional exposure. Men will open up when they feel admired, respected, and emotionally safe. When they sense genuine acceptance. When they trust they won't be punished for their truth. When their vulnerability is met with gratitude, not discomfort. Women say they want emotionally available men, and men do want to be emotionally available. But vulnerability requires a foundation men rarely feel they have. At its core, the crisis isn't that men stopped opening up. It's that the world never gave them a safe place to do it. And until emotional safety exists, not just for women, but for men, silence will continue to be their shield. Not because they choose it, but because they need it. This is Mendecoded, where we speak the truths men live, the truths women don't see, and the truths society avoids. We don't judge men for their silence. We decode it.